It was pink pants, a white shirt, and some white shoes. I said, is this too much? And my wife goes, that ship sailed years ago. I was like, thanks, babe.
Welcome back to another episode of the SweetHome Podcast, the show bringing you real estate tips and conversations right here in the heart of Huntsville, Alabama. My name is Justin Branscombe, a mild-mannered loan officer by day, a aspiring podcast host by night. Joining me today is Philip Wright, an amazing, talented realtor. He's very charitable. He's passionate about teaching, and probably the best-dressed realtor in North Alabama.
Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. No, I absolutely thank you for having me on the podcast. I've seen pictures of it and couldn't wait to be on them. And graciously that you guys reached out to me to be a guest. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Tell us about yourself, people who don't know.
Well, I'm Philip Wright. I am an associate broker and team lead of the Wright Bunch in North Alabama. Married to my beautiful wife, Vicki Wright, who is also a licensed realtor. Been married 7 years. We're foster parents. I need to come up with a cool saying like that, like realtor by day, but I'm a realtor 24/7. But you know, I'm a youth pastor. I have a lot of titles.
Yeah, wear a lot of different hats.
Yeah, my wife was doing my business card the other day, and she's like, "We're gonna have to just go associate broker." She says, "We can't do all this." I'm also the recently promoted at Merit House Realty, where I hang my license, director of agent development.
Wow.
So we have about 28 agents there. So I just keep adding, but I enjoy that.
Yeah, and it sounds like those agents would be lucky because you've had an absolute marvelous path. I mean, you've really risen up and you've taken the lead and you've stepped up in the community. You've made great strides in your craft. What drives that passion for you?
So, you know, it's crazy. Everyone says the same thing as realtors is it's putting someone in a home. I'll never forget the experience that I had when I decided to buy a home, and it was in 2016. Started shopping in 15, and it was scary, and the way I was treated was the gold standard.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, this is something that everyone should live up to. And then my past experience, it was always, our motto was pleasing people, and it was always helping someone. And I come from a line of servants' hearts. My father was a pastor for over 20 years. My mother was a nurse for over 20 years. And my dad's daytime job was a janitor. So we were constantly serving others.
Yeah.
And that's what we do in real estate. We're constantly serving others, and just seeing that excitement that we get to play that part in the home journey. It drives me daily. And this is the only business that I know of where your income is unlimited, and being able to supply that to my kids and my wife, and to be able to spoil, it's what drives me.
And it becomes a different measuring stick, sort of, for how much you're helping people. So the more you help people, you know, the more you get rewarded for that.
Yep. No, absolutely it is. And the best, you know, reward is when your past clients start referring you. And that's where I'm at in my business now. And it's the greatest feelings when they entrusted that to be able to spread your name to help because you made a difference in their lives.
What would you consider your turf? Where do you call home, and where do you like to?
So, you know, it's I've had that question a lot. And Decatur, I'm a Decatur agent. Okay. So like I have branded myself, I'm Decatur.
Yep.
If you could pull my sales, I sell a good bit in Limestone County.
Really?
And what's funny, and I always tell people, I'll put a billboard up. I'm a billboard agent, so I'm going to put a billboard up to grow my market. Well, when I put my billboard up, example, Athens, you know, that's where I'm selling. I want to dominate it. 5 listings in Huntsville. And I'm like,
they saw your billboard on the way to Buc-ee's?
I guess I'm like, what in the world? But I'm going to take the business. So I am known as the Decatur expert. I'm in the top 10 in the MLS system in that area. I'm very blessed. My team of agents live all over. So I have an agent almost in every city.
Sure.
That's their expert field. So Wright Bunch is everywhere. But turf-wise, I live in Decatur. My office is in Decatur. But business-wise, I'm in Limestone now, Madison County. It's kind of funny.
Do you think that's just due to the nature of Athens growing? Or?
I think so. I think it's the nature of Athens growing. And then I think it kind of comes in waves. I think when you start getting the reputation where you're at, it spreads.
Yep.
And I have never thought, because I was going to move my office over here when I was moving brokerages. I interviewed over here with some amazing brokerages, and I was just like, I don't do a lot of business over here. And I'm over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I enjoy this. It's fun. So like, I got to go to Hartselle tonight. So I go all over.
You just kind of go where it takes you, I guess.
I do. Yeah. And what's funny is I closed last week a house in Alabaster. Wow. And so would not plan on going that far at all. But some dear clients that are friends of mine, I couldn't say no.
Yeah, that's the thing. You feel like these are my people. I got to take care of my people.
Yep. Yeah. And I tell my agents, if you want to grow your business as an agent, at the listing presentation, your next question after they sign that contract is, where are you going? And if they're moving and relocating, you're going to do a referral agreement. If they're staying here, you're going to be an exclusive buyer agency and help them find that home, land, whatever it is. But it's hard for me. And I used to be like the number one delegator in my past position. That's what I had to be. I was like a coach. And that's where I'm going back as a team lead as a coach. But it's hard to let go of some things. And that's a weakness of mine, and I admit that. But when I'm with clients that I absolutely love, it's hard to just get a referral agent and be like, hey, take these on. I'm a phone call away. 'Cause I'm like, how's it going?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you being treated right? Are they telling you about this? And I'm like, I may not even be the expert in that field, but I know some real estate.
Yeah.
So it's challenging, but it's something I'm dealing with.
Obviously, everyone doesn't jive together, but when you find people that, like you really understand these people's lives, it makes a big impact. And it builds communities for everyone to kind of work together in that fashion.
It does. It does. And what I tell people, for some reason, realtors get a bad rap. We work our butts off. If you don't ask me to call my wife before, she didn't want to become a realtor because she's like, I ain't working that much.
Yeah.
But we get a bad rap, but there's also some realtors who don't like to play well with others.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we are putting an individual in a home. And I look at my team and I'm like, don't look at with the commissions, they say they're, the whole junk about them changing, nothing's really changing. But when we're looking at them, and we shouldn't be looking at what we're making. We should be just, let's put you in a home, because when you're scared, where do you want to go? When you're tired, where you want to go? When you're hungry and you want good country cooking, besides, Cracker Barrel or a country place, where are you going to go? Yeah. You go home. And when you celebrate, you can't wait to get home and to spread the news. And so we are the ones that get to make that happen for individuals. And that's why I tell my team daily is, make sure we're putting that forward, because you build a family outside of your normal family. And I'm friends with a lot of my clients that are outside and consider them family, and they build on that, and it changed my life.
I know a lot of realtors that still talk to their first client,
Oh yeah.
Just constantly checking in and making sure both lives are still going good, because even the buyers get wrapped up in your success and how you're doing. And
they do. They do. Amazing. And because especially if they know you're your first. And what's funny is I ran into my first clients at the mall. It's Christmas time because we took our kids to see Santa. And my wife was with me, and I was like, oh, you got to meet Jessica and Tyler. These are my first clients. And Jessica goes, where are your first clients? I said, yeah. She goes, I would have never guessed that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Because that deal went horribly wrong in a lot of ways, because I didn't, know. And I helped them buy a house and sell their house. And I say it went wrong. There was a learning experience. I mean, they got put in a home. We made things work. And the cooperating agent was phenomenal on both sides, and knew it was my first, and kind of said, hey, follow me. And now that's what I want to do. The next agent say, follow me. We're going to help you.
So when you started out, like you just described there, someone kind of helped guide you and mold you along the right path.
They did. So when I first got into real estate, I joined a team. And I know I'm biased saying this because I'm a team lead, but I don't think you should be without a team your first year. I almost think it should be a requirement, because you are going to have a lot of questions. You're going to come into a lot of things that you're just not going to know, that they don't teach you in real estate school. So I was on a team. So I had a mentor almost 24/7. And I was one of the agents that could not leave a full-time job with a guaranteed paycheck. So that individual would hold me accountable when I would be going home after working 10, 12 hours a day. He's like, come by the office, let's do some cold calling. I'm like, I'm not doing that. He goes, you want to be full-time? Yeah. So I'd go to the office.
Yeah.
And then on the cooperating part with other agents, they would reach out. There was some that would not help whatsoever. And, why should they? They'll represent one side. And then I was like, let me show you what I would do in this situation, because you may have not had this because you're new. And it made a big difference. And
you really want to instill that in your team. Obviously, that sounds like the kind of person you would be. Does that play into how you train people, your beginning experiences?
Yes. Because one is everyone learns differently. And I was a training manager for my previous employer. And everyone learns different.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching the same thing for all 10 agents, but I have to get on different levels. And then when I'm writing a contract, I make them do mock contracts, mock listings. I'm like, you want to watch me or you want to do it hands-on?
Yeah.
And then I have a system, a plan. I came up with a 31-day plan, a weekly plan. I'm in the middle of writing a boot camp. Just different curriculums for them to use to utilize your business. And it's worked for me. It's worked for other agents. And there's some agents that has proved me wrong where I'm like, this may not be for you. Probably should, get out of the business. I don't mean that badly, but
sure.
It's not.
It's definitely not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. No. And they're like, no, I want to do it. And they've took my plans, read them a little bit for them, and they're kicking tail. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
And so, but it's not for everyone, and that's the part. But what works for one may not work for another.
Yeah, and a lot of it is goals and accountability, because everyone can't meet the same goals either.
No, you should not. Make my team, we do a SMART action plan, and then it has to match up week to quarterly to yearly. And like I sent an email out to them the other day, and we're scheduled. We do one-on-ones. I'm like, this is what happened. This is what you did in Q1. We're in Q2, your strongest time.
Right.
If it's not happening, we can adjust.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing about owning, because we're business owners. Adjust your plan. You don't have to go by that plan. Just have a guideline to adjust.
And if it wasn't working before, it's crazy to think it would keep not working.
Exactly.
Right?
It's what, insanity?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Not just teaching your team, you're kind of passionate about teaching in general for real estate. Was this really the career real estate really for you, I guess?
I hated school. Let me tell you something. I absolutely hated school. I thought I was not the straight A student.
You're not the only one in that club.
And went to college, not for me. And so, I'm not doing this. So, but when I got into my last job and then got into real estate, training and teaching, because I learn as I go. And I love to learn. I love to reading books. I read about a book a week. I'm very passionate about it. And it also helps me distress. But looking at those, so training and development, I went to school, Orion School of Real Estate with Tom and Pat Carter. And I was like, cracked me up. It was during COVID. We had to wear masks, had to be 6 feet apart. We had these big glass things that I kept knocking off my desk. I think we went through 3 of them, bless their hearts. But I fell in love with it. I'm going to be a Tom and Pat Carter one day.
Yeah.
And then I decided to get my broker's license, and I went to Shannon Blackwood's school. And I told her I was halfway through my broker's license and said, how do we just skip to instructor license? Because that's really what I want to do.
Yeah.
So teaching is a passion. I teach Pat School of Real Estate. I teach seminars. And I'm in the process of getting my instructor's license and continuous education teaching license.
Well, what's your favorite topic when you go to teach?
Old car. Just your basics, loyalty, disclosure, honesty. Just teaching those, because a lot of people don't realize that we have an obligation to our clients. Yep. And we have to do what they say. And those are my favorite topics to teach. I don't like a lot of the math. I'm not a math whiz, but like the 4 quarters of the 4 corners of the East, I can work that backwards and forwards. I love that. But I enjoy teaching just what we owe to the clients, because unless you're selling the river, you're never going to use the Riparian rights or littoral rights. If you are, your clients don't need to know they own everything to the core and all the way up to infinity. They're not asking those questions. I mean, you've got all kinds of regulation stuff, but those, old car obedience, loyalty, disclosure, those never go away. And that's what's going to make your business successful. And I love that mumbo jumbo of real estate.
And those are like the foundations of being good at anything, to be honest, not just real estate. Those kind of things in business define you as a person And if you can do that, you can do anything.
Yep. No, absolutely. You got to have, and this was a book, Core of Conviction, and it stuck with me from a congresswoman from Minnesota that she wrote. And it's, what's your core of conviction? What at the end of the day is going to be your non-negotiables? And we fail daily. We fail every which way, but you got to have that core conviction that no matter if I do fail, I can regain. And at the end of the day, I want to uphold integrity, generosity, and help the next person in line. Because that's what it's about. There's enough business for everybody. And so I have agents that call me all the time from different brokerages. Say, hey, what would you do in this situation? I said, well, you need to talk to your broker, but this is what I would do.
Right. That's good. That's good to have those integrities in your life that people feel confident that you're going to guide them correctly. And that, I'm sure that plays into being a teacher as well. So
it does. It does, because they're going to know your stuff too. Good Lord. Now I tell people, if I don't know it, let me study it.
Well, I've always been of the philosophy that if I don't know it today, by the next time you ask me, I'm going to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's nothing you can't learn, especially in today's day and age.
Absolutely.
There's no reason not to learn anything.
No, it's at the fingertips, and it's the only thing that stops is time, and you got to make time to learn.
I try explaining that to my kids. They ask me all these crazy questions, and I was like, you have every answer in human history in your pocket. I didn't have that growing up. I wish I did. I felt like I knew every answer growing up.
Yeah, exactly. But we didn't. But no, it's funny because I'm like, ChatGPT, I was on a NAR last convention watching a video and how they said, use ChatGPT to be your personal assistant. And it will write this for you and write letters and emails.
Yeah.
And then they're saying kids use this in school to write essays. And I'm like, I had a number 2 pencil.
Yeah.
And I had a big old book about that thick, and I had to write them myself. And I was homeschooled, so I had to mail it to Lansing, Illinois to have a teacher grade it, wait patiently for her to mail it back to let them know what the score is. And now everything's digital, and I'm like, yeah, you guys, they're there. But it's also probably the downfall because it's all right there.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, there's definitely no incentive to memorize everything. I used to know every phone number. Every person who called me, I could look at the number and say, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, is this one I want to answer? You have to answer all of them, unfortunately.
No, I get it. Now, it's funny. I got tickled. We were watching something. Murder, She Wrote. I'm a big old TV show person. And we were watching Murder, She Wrote. And he's like, I got to make a phone call. And he went to a payphone. And I started laughing. I was like, I remember those. I remember when I needed my parents, I would page them.
Yeah.
It wasn't text. I'd page them. They'd have to go find a phone, call me. Yeah, it's hilarious. Kids nowadays would be freaked out over that.
Yeah, I know. That's terrible. But times change, I guess.
Times change. Hey, I wouldn't go back.
No, I probably wouldn't either.
Great memories. But
I'm happy I survived it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Transitioning there, you do a lot of work in the communities. You're a big advocate for small businesses. I mean, if anyone looks at any of your social media, they're going to see every amazing place that you've found in your journey. How do you think that plays into you being a realtor? I mean, businesses and houses aren't mutually exclusive, obviously, but
right. My father was a small business owner. My grandfather, grandmother. And I'm a small business owner as a realtor.
Yep.
So I want to support and I want people to invest, because if I am supporting these small businesses that are eventually going to explode, it's going to bring jobs, which is going to bring homes.
Yeah.
And so that's where it plays in. And then as a realtor, I'm constantly looking to be, I say this all the time, you can't sling a dead cat without hitting another realtor. So what sets you apart? And so I'm known for crazy blazers, bright colored shirts, crazy socks, and I give gifts constantly. And so I will go to these small businesses and be like, hey, I want 20 candles. What can we do to make this happen? And I want to advertise your business. That's amazing. Because we don't know if that purchase is going to be their light bill for the month or pay their payroll for the month. And it's going to help me stand out as a realtor that I'm out here supporting these small businesses too. And you also, I'm not doing it selfishly just for what happens, because there's a lot of businesses I support that I don't get anything. But I joined the Decatur Morgan County Chamber as a Commodore to go to ribbon cuttings and to meet these individuals, and then I meet their employees. And I do commercial, and with residential sales, as realtors, not all, most of them are sentimental.
Right.
And we get attached, and we talk about this. In commercial, it's give me the numbers. What's the profit and loss going to look like?
Yeah.
And I'm very different in that approach. And I've done a couple of commercial deals, and I had one of the commercial guys look at me, and he goes, "You're very, attached compared to other commercial agents." I said, "Thank you."
Yeah.
He goes, "I don't get that." I said, "Well, Steve Jobs started in his basement, if I'm not mistaken, or his garage. You've got Bill Gates that did the same thing. People at home are starting businesses in their third bedrooms. Right. The heart of a business started at home, and I sold that home, and I want to make your business successful, so I want to help you get that unit. I want to help you get that building."
And those people, I know they appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
Because when, like you said, some of the commercial agents, it is just math, and not all the math makes sense. Mm-hmm. But it always makes sense that their desire to build something, their desire to improve the community and provide for people, and service, like you said before, provide that service.
It's provide that service. And if you go to every one of these, if we go, and we can go to corporate companies, and let's take Cracker Barrel, Danny Evans, he wanted to give people who are traveling, families on the road, a good place to stop and rest. You go to Bill Gates, he wanted technology to be at the fingertips of Microsoft. You go to Steve Jobs, he wanted technology for people to be able to enhance their lives. Everything that has started, Hobby Lobby, him and his wife wanted you to have great decor, and it started in his garage. Every one of these things is going to turn around and boost the economy. It's going to boost your area and bring jobs, which is going to bring growth, which is going to bring housing. And so it's a whole circle. And so how can we support these small businesses? And 90% of the time, if you're dealing with a small business, there's so much emotional because they don't know what to do that you're going to help guide them through.
Yeah, for a lot of them, it's their first time doing something like this, and it's a big step.
It's a huge, it's a huge step because they have a mortgage payment, they have a car payment, they have family to feed, and then they're going to take what's extra, what may be their vacation fund, and invest in a business that may not be profitable for 3 to 5 years. Yeah. My niece right now is starting a coffee shop. And I couldn't be more proud of that. It's in Mississippi. So I'm like, I can't be a daily frequent customer, but I'm so proud that she's taking an initiative at 18 years old.
Wow.
18 years old. And I'm like, at 18 years old, I was working up the ladder at Cracker Barrel because I was formerly at Cracker Barrel working up the ladder, but I was not being ambitious to start my own coffee shop.
No kidding.
And she's also a pilot. She was on the news in Mississippi. Yeah, she's getting her pilot license, almost graduated. And they had her on the news the other day, and I didn't know this. They sent it to me that I guess being a pilot, that occupation is very male dominated still, and there's not very female pilots. And they were interviewing her on TV because she's like one in so many students in Mississippi that's getting. I'm like, that's my niece.
Yeah. She's gonna
deliver places.
Coffee delivery.
I need to put. I am Veronica's realtor, and that may get me some business.
Or she could drag one of them banners behind a.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, there you go. I know no one's doing that around here.
No, I need to look at that before someone else does.
Well, for the community aspect of a small business, it really pays off for everyone, not monetarily, to have a community where you have a restaurant and a coffee shop and a cookie shop and a nice clothing boutique. All those things that normally you have to travel to the city to get. I'm a big advocate for small towns that are self-sustaining. Mm-hmm. I don't really, I say I don't like it, sorry, but I don't like these massive mega cities that try to have everything compacted into one small area and build up on it. I like a small, heart-filled town, really, where you can raise children and it's quiet. And all that stuff can be close enough to go visit.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I agree. And that's why I chose Decatur as my home. I love Huntsville. I wouldn't want to live in Huntsville because my wife driving, it would just be a nightmare. She's going to kill me for that, but she's wrecked a couple of vehicles. So, I've worked in Huntsville. I sell in Huntsville. I still work in Huntsville, but I like a smaller town. A lot of families love Hartselle and Athens and Coleman because they're smaller. But the great thing is, no matter where you're at, Huntsville's smaller than Nashville, smaller than Atlanta, but we're like 2 hours from Nashville, 3 hours from Atlanta, 5 hours from the beach, 3.5 from Memphis. We're centrally located.
For sure.
And we got smaller towns like Hazel Green, Meridianville, that is right next to the big city.
Yeah.
And we got a great nightlife if you like that. So,
Athens the same way.
Same way. Yep.
Booming too.
Yep.
So
I love that.
and a lot of, like we just said, small businesses coming in and building a nice place to live.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned that brings homes immediately. Does that translate long term? Is it short term? Does it putting more businesses in a town? Does it how soon does it impact the city?
Business wise, it impacts tax dollars with paying taxes. It's immediately.
Yeah.
With business license and stuff. For housing and stuff, it takes about a year, 2 years, depending on the type of business, how many employees they have, and what they sell, and how much they can put on payroll. If it's an Amazon, it's immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Because they need all those factory workers. But if it's a small business, it does take a couple. If you stroll downtown Decatur, if you stroll downtown Hartselle, most of those small businesses employ 3 to 5 people. But, that's 3 to 5 houses.
Yeah. Right.
Add that up, that's probably about 50 homes for one small business if you go down the list and stuff.
And then people, they find these communities, they fall in love with them, they live there 5 or 6 years, and then they say to their family, hey, come live here. This is a great place. Bring your family.
It is. So I met with a mortgage lender today who came from California, and during our 1-hour meeting, she's moving 5 of her family members from Chattanooga based on the job that was accepted in Chattanooga, then Huntsville, Madison, and Athens.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's amazing that they're coming here. And she's lived here 4 years. So someone else had to test the waters, and that happens. But that happened. My family originally were from Indiana, and my father's the first to ever move in his family out of the state. And so moved here, started a job, his own business. And we lived here a good 10 years, and then his sisters followed. And then family, and then now we've spread out with marriage and everything from Mississippi and everything like that. But yeah, it has that ripple side effect.
Would you explain what Commodore is for people who may not know?
So Commodore is we are ambassadors for the chamber. So when you are a small business and you choose to join the chamber, and everyone is different. Like in Hearts, they're called ambassadors.
Okay.
Or we're Commodores. The reason why we're Commodores is Decatur, Commodore Decatur, who founded Decatur, was Commodore Decatur.
Makes sense.
So that's why we're Commodores. But we are there to help celebrate your opening of your business, to mentor you.
Right.
We call it the new little black book. It's got about there's 48 of us now. So there's 48 business cards. And I guarantee you, whatever you need is in that book, or we know someone. If you need a plumber, you need someone to help marketing, you need anything, it's in that book. And we're just a resource guide to ensure that you have everything that you need to be a successful, profitable business.
That's good. So they really don't want businesses to fail just for lack of help.
No, not at all. No. And that's one thing. Crystal Brown, who is our president and CEO of the chamber, and her staff are phenomenal, and there's never a time that you don't get a return phone call or email for a support system, or they're going to be there. There's a calendar online that you can post for free of your events, or just shopping days at your store, or $10 haircut specials or anything. It's always there to advertise. So there's not a lack of resources or support.
How long have you been involved with the Chamber of Commerce?
Been involved 2 years now with the chamber. I just joined. I thought, I didn't know what it was. And I'm like, I'm a small business owner. What does the chamber do? And boy, they sucked me in.
Yeah.
And then I realized what they did. I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
We need more small businesses to know. And I think it's like this in every city you go to. If you're in Decatur, I think there's kind of like a lacking from the southwest to the southeast side, where it's not two different cities, but they don't know what's going on over here, and they don't know what's going on over here.
Right.
And so we're bridging that gap. Decatur's actually known for 3 cities. There was O-Town, there was O-Decatur, and New Albany, but it's now Decatur. And we all finally merged. And you can tell from 2nd Avenue to Bank Street, that was 2 different towns. And then if you cross the railroad tracks on Bank Street, that was O-Town. And that's where the Scottsboro Boys trial was, and all the judge's house and everything. And so we're getting civil rights museums and everything in O-Town. O-Town's really cool. People need to go and discover the history of O-Town.
There's a lot of history in Decatur.
A lot of history. And we were the Decatur was the first railroad system outside of the Ohio River.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And I'm like, Decatur?
Yeah.
No offense, Decatur?
What were they
Really?
bringing here? Yeah.
And so it was just a booming, and Decatur has always been community backing community, from the very first chicken plant to the cheese plant, all the way up to Meow Mix. It was all backed by locals supporting each other because we wanted to stand out, and they have. And we're now the Rocket City. Huntsville's not the Rocket City anymore. We are factory in Decatur landed for the contract for 14 rockets that will be built in Decatur, go down the Tennessee River to the Mississippi River up to the coast to be blasted off.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I tell people we're the real Rocket City now.
Yeah, the one that builds the rockets. Yeah, that's neat. Watching those barges go up with all those.
Oh,
parts.
It's amazing.
That's so cool.
It is. It is amazing. So I'm very excited. But
you guys should post when they do that and just have a viewing event, because that'll be amazing for the city.
It would be. It would be. They need to do that. I'll tell them that, because that would be a great idea.
People are invested in that kind of stuff here.
They are.
Sure.
You know, there's we have one of the oldest train depots in Decatur, and I guess there's like, you can watch the trains. I guess there's this thing where people they just watch trains on TV. I don't know. I'm not a train person.
Yeah.
But our depot's on that channel, and like people can watch all the trains go by, and I'm like,
yeah,
it gets tons of
That's
views.
better than TV.
It's better than TV. Yeah. But that's what the Commodores are. We just support all businesses, big and small, but we're the backbone of those to make sure they're there with the support.
That is amazing. And there's quite a few of them. You said 40?
There's 48 this year. So it's a yearly commitment, and applications go out in February, finalized in March, orientations in April, and then you do the 12-month program.
Wow.
And then we have 2 teams. We can go to all the ribbon cuttings. Like I have one tomorrow. And so I tried to attend them all because I just don't know who I'm going to meet.
Yeah.
And how I can help someone.
That's fun. Since we've joined real estate, my wife and I, we've met way more people than I thought even possible, to be honest. It's
insane.
It is.
It is. And you think you know everybody, and then you're like, oh. And then you'll meet someone who knows someone. And it's a small world, too.
It makes Facebook look small some days.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Someone called it, my broker calls it the Book of Faces. It took me a minute to realize what she was talking about.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's hilarious. Yeah.
That is. So you've got quite a bit of involvement in the city and the growth, communities, housing. Politically, do you have any political aspirations?
I do, actually. I ran for city council in 21. 21. I was not successful in winning the seat. I was successful that everything on my agenda was adopted by the outgoing administration.
That's kind of a win.
That's a win, in my opinion. I do have ambitions to run for office. My wife hates that. I just moved to a new district it's amazing how districts change. I moved 1.4 miles away from my house.
And now you're in a whole new district.
But I'm in the district of a very good city councilman that I would not run against.
Yeah.
That I enjoy. And then my representative, that's more of the line I'd probably run for, is state representative. And she's doing a fine job. And I don't have any ambition to run against her. But if she did not run for office, I would consider it. I always would consider serving.
Yes.
I would always consider serving. I may not be the most qualified in the race, but I have the heart to serve others, and I would work for everyone.
And that seems like the rarest trait, to be honest, lately.
It is. I think a lot of people, and we talked about this before we went on the podcast, you don't have to agree with everything. You just have to respect people's opinion and know that when you're going to vote, you are voting for your people. So it may be something, and it's hard. And this is the part that I have tough conversations with. It is absolutely hard to vote on something that you may, to your core, not agree with, but you're not there representing yourself.
Right.
You're there representing your people.
Right.
And that's what we have to think about.
And I think that's been lost by the wayside a little bit.
It has.
But I wish we could get back to that.
I hope so. And I feel like that it's my generation's time to step up to the plate, and we need to get serious. And today's a runoff election. And when I went to vote in the runoff, I was number 12. in a county race that's very important. And it really offended me because I'm one of the largest voting precincts in Decatur. And I'm like, I was number 12.
Wow.
And I'm like, we got to get people out to realize it doesn't take long to vote. And that is something I will consider doing one day. I don't know. It maybe in 10 years, maybe in a year. I don't know. I won't rule it out.
Yeah, I think you're perfect for it.
Well,
I think
thank you. I appreciate that.
The kind of people we need, for sure.
Thank you.
You'd mentioned being a treasurer.
Yes.
State treasurer, considered that?
Young boozer's job.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I would consider a statewide office. I would. And I would consider state treasurer. I would consider that. I think it's that's the people's money. That's probably one of the most important jobs we have up there that we elect up there. And Secretary of State, a lot of people think it's the governor. I love how I say governor. I always tell my wife, I said, I wanted a dog named Governor, but I said he would never understand his name. Yeah. I would consider that in a heartbeat. I would.
As a loan officer is weird to me because the numbers are always important to us. Mm-hmm. That's the job I think we need to focus on the most is the money.
It is.
The social thing's great. Everyone disagrees socially, and that's been a hot topic for a while, but we need to fix the numbers.
Yeah, show me the money.
Yeah,
where's it going?
Make that first.
Yeah, make it first. And what I tell people all the time, presidential elections are very important, but to the point. I mean, Secretary of State, one bad conversation, we could be in war with somebody because he's over that daily. Secretary of Treasurer is the ones writing the budget. Who are we putting over that? Yeah. And so I'm like, I almost want to say those should be elected positions almost instead of appointed positions. And so that's why it's important you vote for your senators and your congressmen because they're voting yes or no on those. But we can go all day. But no, I am a treasurer. I was a treasurer of the Morgan County Sheriff's Department's posse, which is a 501(c). It's their fundraiser side and their grant writing side. And I served in that capacity from 17 to October of last year. I resigned. Made a lot of people upset when I did that, but I am one of them. I'm also, we started this in the podcast, I have a lot of titles. I have my hands in everything, but I know when to say no, which is very hard to do sometimes. And so I just told them, I said, hey, one person should have the money that long. That's almost 7 years. It should change hands. Yeah. And I'm like, it's time for me to focus on my family. Yeah. So I resigned from that and then immediately got elected. I was asked to run, and I ran and won treasurer of the Morgan County Association of Realtors. So I am responsible for 309 realtors' money at their association level.
What, just for clarity, where does that money come from? Dues or?
Dues, lock boxes. Yeah. When you purchase or just having the app, there's a royalty on that, royalty from MLS fees. So all that money comes from there. So that's why you should make sure your association is working for you.
Yes, for sure.
Because you are. I get upset at agents like, this is your MLS with RPR and Paragon. It's free for you. No, you pay for that. Yeah. You pay quarterly and you pay yearly.
Are you part of the team that advocates for telling realtors what their benefits are to joining these associations? I mean, is there a process to help inform people?
There is. It's not a very good one. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Well, I've met a lot of agents who don't know where their due money goes, to be honest.
They don't. So, they don't. Well, and there's two things. One, shame on them. Yeah. Ask the questions. Sure. Ask the questions. That's where I got. I'm still the newbie. Ask the questions. I got elected to the directors, board of directors last year. No, in 22, on my first year in real estate. And then I got elected to treasurer in my second year of real estate. And I'm in my third and they already know this, but I'm planning on running for president. Get involved. Ask that money. Where's it going? Your treasurer should have a budget of every dollar coming in and every dollar going out.
Absolutely.
And then know what it is. It is very crucial. I took a 10-minute survey yesterday for Alabama Association of Realtors on what is important to us. One, I want to be called a realtor. I don't want to be called a real estate agent. And so for me to carry that title, to wear the R logo, I have to be a member of the National Association of Realtors. A lot of realtors are probably upset right now. Yeah. I was one of them. That should have been handled a whole lot differently than what it should have. And get involved. Run for those positions. Do the right thing. But ask those questions because you do need to be a member. It helps. It builds relationships. I'm not bragging on my numbers. I'm in the top 10 of the MLS out of 309 realtors. I sold 52 transactions on the residential side last year, not counting my commercial. And that's from building relationships in the public with buyers and sellers. But it's also negotiating and talking with the realtors at the association level and helping and work with them, because we got to have that relationship. Because I tell everyone, I want you to have a buyer for every one of my listings, and I want to have a buyer for every one of your listings, and we need to work together. And so just ask those questions. Where's my money going? And I will tell you, the people at HAR are great people. People at the Morgan County are great people. I've worked with the other ones. I'm not saying they're not great. They are great in the other MLSs, but those are the two that I work with on a daily basis. Poor Melissa at Valley MLS has got my number probably on speed dial because I call her all the time. But ask those questions. They want you to ask those questions. And as treasurer, it was said the other day, I just want to look at the report and know that there's no questions. Absolutely not. You should question me on that report.
Right.
Because that is your money and your dues. Where are we sending it? I'm not announcing my candidacy yet for any office, but I just on that soapbox, didn't I? Yeah, they just ask those questions because you need to know. And we all should know where that money goes because it is a lot of money.
For those who may not know, could you explain what HAR is?
It's the Huntsville Association of Realtors. So you have 3 different levels as a realtor that joins. You have the National Association of Realtors.
Yep.
You have the Alabama Association of Realtors. And then you have HAR, which is Huntsville Association of Realtors.
So national, state, local.
And local. Mm-hmm. And local can be different. Like I'm the Morgan County Association of Realtors and secondary to Huntsville's association. I just joined Morgan County because I live in Morgan County.
Are they kind of subordinate to each other? Does everyone have to join NAR? Does everyone have to join the state association?
Yes. So they're all members of each one.
Okay.
So like when you join the local, you have to join the others.
So that's why the National Association of Realtors and their settlement that just happened impacts pretty much the entire country.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And you're going to have, we got some other people popping up, creating their own organizations. But what are the benefits of them? They can't tell you. And so you're just going to get your benefits and understand. And they went out, and Freddie Mae came out the other day with some, nothing's changing.
Right.
It's going to be extra forms. Nothing's changing. Negotiate your commission. It's always been negotiable. If you're a consumer, contact a real estate attorney. They can break it down for you. That's what I've been telling my clients.
Well, that's good. I mean, it doesn't help to panic, and it doesn't sound like there's reason to panic, in my opinion. But
there's not, and you've got realtors who I will tell to stop it all the time. It's clickbait. It's for them to get leads and to get their name out there.
Yeah.
You're not a Galinda Baker, which I love. You're not, you're not Barbara Cochran. And to get the monkey off your back, refer it to a real estate attorney because
sell houses, not the
sell
news.
houses. Yes, that's exactly right.
Philip, it sounds like your career's been just a fireball moving through the sky at this race. But how about your personal life? I'm sure you're blessed there too.
I am very blessed. Married my beautiful wife Vicki, who's a licensed realtor. We have a beautiful little daughter who is 11 months old. Pride and joy. I'm blessed. I'm weekend father to a lot of kids and uncle to a lot. Me and my wife could not have kids ourselves, so we adopt and foster, and then we're youth pastors of a church. So it's kind of went away with us moving and fostering an infant. It stopped there for a little bit, but there was a time for about 3 years that when I opened my front door at the house, I didn't know who was there. It could have been a bunch of teenagers on the internet mattress watching TV. They just knew it was a safe zone, still is a safe zone for them to come and just chill and hang out.
Yeah, that's perfect. That gets back to the community thing all about. That seems to be who you are as a person, community builder.
Yeah.
Fostering children, what's your experience with that been like here in Alabama?
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a roller coaster. We won't go on the politics side of how the system's broken, but we have fostered 7 beautiful kids from 3 months old to a 20-year-old. And they've been phenomenal. I see each and every one of them besides one monthly, if not more.
Good.
So great relationships. A lot's been reunified with their parents, which is the end result goal.
Right. And
it's been a beautiful, beautiful thing. You learn about yourself. You learn about how strong you can be and how weak you can be.
Yeah.
And different aspects. It's an amazing experience.
Well, and you impact lives. And like you said, the ultimate goal is for them to get back with their birth family and all that. But I would hope they would look back and be thankful that you were there in their time of need and help them through that struggle.
I hope so. That's one of the things that I struggle with on that part is I look at my wife. I'm like, do you think they'll remember us?
You get attached.
You get attached, and you have to get attached to do the job right. And when they go home, I'm emotional for a day or two or a week, depending on how long we've had them. I've had two little babies that went back after 420 days.
Oh, wow.
Couldn't be more happy for the mama. Me and my wife, a lot of lonely nights. They're crying, trying to heal. But that's the greatest thing. I just want them to remember. I want them to remember feeling loved.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thing. And want them to know that there is a love out there greater than anything.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people who can provide that and are willing to. And that's what really counts in the end.
Absolutely.
So, Philip, I appreciate your time. I mean, you're an amazing person. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate it. And I was in post license with your wife.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I've known Carrie for a while. So getting to come here and meet you and be on your podcast, I appreciate it. And looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again. We'll have to show your team off some more.
Absolutely. Show my team off. And who knows, the next time I may be a running candidate. You never know.
Yeah. You can platform here. That's fine. I support your personal morals. So we'll go for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I guess we'll wrap up. Philip, if you got anything to say, how can people find you if they want to find you?
They can find me at therightbunch.com, just like the Brady Bunch, but the Right Bunch with a W. They can go to Facebook. It's Philip with one L, so it's Philip Wright Realtor. And I've got a business page, a personal page. I've got an Instagram. I'm on YouTube, but it's all Philip Wright Realtor with the one L. And then hashtag The Right Way Home will also pop me up. So
I love looking at your stuff and just seeing what outfit you're wearing. You have some amazing outfits. You have some of the best that I've seen, to be honest. I'm not even exaggerating.
Well,
I love them.
I appreciate it. I was on a podcast with Rachel Brown, and she goes, I was going to text you to wear a crazy blazer, but you did it without me asking. I had a paisley blazer. I've got some that are sequins. I got some that look like they've been shot at with paintball guns. So I tried to leave the world better than I found it and a little more colorful.
It's fun. Very fun.
It is. My wife just all come out of the bedroom some days and she'll be like, really? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you going on a cruise? I'm like, no, going to work.
And on some level, that just proves your confidence right there. If you can walk out the door in some of those, that's amazing. What's funny is
I came out and I had, it was pink pants, a white shirt, and some white shoes. I said, is this too much? And my wife goes, that ship sailed years ago. I was like, thanks, babe.
Hilarious.
But yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us at the SweetHome Podcast. Follow us on social media and stay tuned for more. Thank you.